Welcome to the Westport Library. Today's program will begin momentarily. Supported by Verso Studios, created locally and shared with the world.
Welcome to tonight's Artist Talk with Larry Morse and Miggs Burroughs, celebrating the opening of Larry's wonderful exhibit, Black Men Reading. I'm Carol Erger-Fass, exhibit curator at the library. It was just about this time last year when I first came across Larry's work on display during the Bridgeport Art Trail. Walking around and seeing so many great artists spread out all over the city, it's a November ritual for me. And if you haven't gone, it's coming up again the weekend of November 7th to 9th, and don't miss it. Anyway, I did a double take when I saw one of Larry's large paintings of a black man reading, nestled in between some of his other works, and it moved me on so many levels. It wasn't just the composition and the colors and the technical expertise, which is what stopped me first, but the underlying historical reference and not so subtle feeling of defiance that came through. It was just so powerful. I thought to myself, this needs to be at the library. So I introduced myself, followed him on Instagram, saw the rest of the series, and well, here we are. Time to coincide with StoryFest, celebrating reading and storytelling in all its forms. Larry's work adds a different point of view to the conversation. Currently focusing on painting full-time, his diverse background includes a tour of duty in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive, a BFA from the School of Visual Arts, a 15-year career as an art teacher in New York City, and a driver of a yellow cab. His work has been shown locally at the Easton Library, the Mitchell Library in New Haven, the City Lights Gallery, the Nest, and the Bridgeport Innovation Center, where I think that's where you'll be during the art trail. You'll have to tell us where you'll be, okay? Yep. Before I turn this over to Larry and Miggs, I want to thank the library's art committee for everything they do to make these exhibits and programs possible, and Verso Studios for producing and recording tonight's presentation. There'll be time for a Q&A after the talk, and because we're recording, if you can walk over to that mic and ask your question, that way it will become part of the recording. Thanks, and enjoy.
Well, thank you, Carol. Thank you all for being here, and thanks, Carol, for curating the show and for all she does for the library and the arts. And thanks to Larry for opening the Larry Morse Annex up here on the. Is this permanent? Is this gonna a permanent gallery?
I know. I wish it were.
Yeah, that's great. So just an initial kind of quirky question is, can't help but notice you sign your paintings vertically. Is there a particular reason for that? Most artists sign, on the bottom or the...
That has been mentioned, yes. Yeah. It comes as a result of doing just that on one particular piece and totally not related to this subject. And I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I like it. It's distinctive. So this first picture of you, this is you, right? Standing next to this souped up. And did you customize that car?
I did. And I take great pride in that fact. Yeah, those were fantastic times. At this time, I was a high school student on Long Island, which has a tremendous automotive culture. And I worked at an auto body shop. And as a result of my uncle, who owned a fish and chip joint, telling me, I think you should find another job. And he gave me a number. And worked out well. We get to a point where I'm able to avail myself of the contacts this particular proprietor had. And so he says, what kind of car you want? I said, I just, any kind of car. I had just gotten my license and just wanted to get behind the wheel. So he brings me out to Levittown, of all places. Interesting place, especially at that time, from my perspective, limited perspective of things outside of Hempstead, which was the town I lived in at that time. And so there it was, a pink Ford, and right away I started seeing better possibilities for its cosmetics.
All right, well, so we've got a lot of work to cover too. So it's interesting how you started out with shapes and forms, and it all relates to cars, composition, and color. So this, I think everybody who knows you knows this is your wife, Ellen.
Yes, my dear.
She's also an artist,
Ellen.
right?
Just a spectacular artist. You have to see her work to appreciate it, obviously. But
do you work in separate studio? Do you work in separate studio?
Really tremendous. Yes, Ellen has a studio at home. She carved out a really fantastic studio for herself, and informed me, don't get any ideas with the guest room. So, yeah, Ellen helped me to locate a studio in what is an armory there in Ansonia. And people say, at least your art will be safe there.
Yeah, really.
And I'm very comfortable. It's supposed to be quite the ground zero for paranormal activity.
Oh, excellent.
But after working all day as a cab driver, it's like...
You've seen it all, right?
Yeah. If anyone wants to show up, please don't hesitate. But I never experienced anything. And I would be working like 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
now this picture, this is very different from anything we're seeing up here. It's an abstract, I don't know what category. Did you do a series of this, or is this just, where does this fit in?
This is a series, from a series I've done. This is a rather sizable piece, which I take great pleasure in delving into the abstract. It's a piece from the series called Dingle-Doties. I named that after a Jack Kerouac work he did. They rushed down the street together, digging everything in the early way they had, before everything became so much sadder, perceptive, and blank. Then they danced down the streets like dingle-doties as I shamble behind, as I've been doing all my life, behind people who matter to me. Because for me, the only people are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. The one who never yawns or says a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding against the sky. And in the middle, you see the blue center light pop, and everyone goes, ah.
So you recited that? Thank you. That was great.
On the road.
From Jack Kerouac, yeah, wow.
Yeah, so I was so taken by it, I named an entire series of them. I wish you could see, well, who knows? But anyhow.
Well, this is the series where it's displayed, Black Men Reading, and there was a question from Shobana, who's interested in your work. How many, is this all the work in that series, or is there more in your studio?
There are some which were thankfully sold. My mentor is in the audience, Adja Cowens. I did a Black Man Reading with his image, and it was snatched up right away.
Yeah.
Along with a few, some others subsequently. And so Dolly Curtis, my dear, dear friend, who has a lot to do with the fact that I'm sitting here talking with you now.
Yeah, Dolly's very influential. There she is in the front row.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time, too.
Dolly introduced me to a fabulous gentleman who presently resides in Maine, who is a former student of Dolly's mom. And Dolly tells the story of how her mom got him out there, and his first big excuse was, "I don't have a portfolio," and so Dolly's mom fashions a portfolio out of cardboard, and he's a very successful guy right now. But I got to meet him, and I shared with him the fact of Black Men Reading, and he says, "How many do you have?" Because I wanted him to be the subject of one. And he says, "How many do you have?" I said, 6. He said, "Oh, you need at least 20.
Yeah.
So I have 26 presently.
Oh, okay.
And
wow.
right. Oh, how these things happen is extraordinary. And there are 3 more coming down the pike. So there you are.
Wow. And these are, is there a chronology of these, the ones on stage, are they more recent or just?
Relatively recent. Here, this painting right behind me here, you will see signed December 26. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2025.
Now, this one that's on the screen now looks familiar. That's you, right? Is that you?
It is, yeah.
It's great. It's so, with so little detail, it's so evocative of your mood and your intent, tension, and it's great. Now, I know you take some photographs. Who took that picture of you, or was that from?
Ellen took this photograph, and when the time comes when I just have to have a subject, and there's no one available, I choose from.
You choose you.
That's right.
You're a cheap model.
Right. I don't have to pay myself, and that's another thing. I use photographs as reference without attempting to get into that painstaking photorealism at all. And the whole point for me is to create a likeness or to get the point across of a Black man reading, period. And here's another a painting, the subject of a gentleman I met in a L&N day. We were.
Put the microphone, sorry, a little close to your, gotta put the microphone close to your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellen and I were in a coffee shop along with some friends, and we see this gentleman. There he is. He's like, Ellen, I think she gave me the elbow. She's like, "Hey, look, there he goes. There's a brother reading." So I approached him, and everyone I approach and explain or share the story of this or my quest, they're also supportive and so cool about it. Their better wishes have a lot to do with fueling what I do. It's really great.
So we had a great I thought, a great conversation a couple of weeks ago downtown in Bridgeport, and something that really stuck with me when I think I asked you about your intention in your work overall, and you said to let people know they're not alone, which I think was very powerful. So how did you mean that in terms of these paintings conveying?
I would see an individual in a subway or out in the world, a black man reading. And I guess it comes from my relief of seeing that I'm not alone. And my intention all along in my work is to aim to have the viewer feel, take something from the work and have it resonate with them in such a way to remind them that they're not alone. So it's all this mutual need for each other kind of thing. But and as far as the Black Men Reading series, yes, I was reminded in these images I'd see out in the world, this particular piece. This was my first, this was the inaugural piece, as a matter of fact. I didn't ask him if I could take his picture, I just took his picture. But subsequently, I wanted to, from the results of doing this piece, and the feeling I got from it, I wanted to then share some of my intent with subsequent subjects, and it's just been great like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is unfortunately a dark history to all this, where in America, where black men were not allowed to read, not allowed to have books. So this resonates on that other level too.
Yes, because my intention with this series is not to encourage or promote the reading practice for black men in general. Like, the dear black men need to be encouraged to read. It's not about that at all. It's about the need to fill a vacuum of images and statements in this culture that where you never see or very seldom see or even are reminded of the concept of a black man reading. It's and when we talk about the legacy of black men reading or black people reading in general, we are just appalled by the fact of it and how the repercussions and the surrounding the subject of a black man reading. But yes, I intend to do this series for good, on and on, because I know too well and of the lack of the image, the concept out there that somehow it just it's kind of disturbing for me when I really think about it. Yeah.
And even without that context, I mean, they're just beautiful paintings on their own. I mean, they stand alone, you know. I mean, your color and composition, everything about it is make them powerful. There's another kind of abstraction, and asking that, what is there anything different that the abstract paintings let you express versus the portraiture?
Yeah, it's kind of profound in a certain kind of way. How my love of abstract kind of feeds into the representative. And it's strange how it all comes about in my life story. Abstract was let's just say I was introduced to the concept of abstract in a real way in school because my portfolio to get in school was of representative pieces. And I resonated with the subject of abstract in a very surprising way for me. And I learned that one is not able to or afforded the results by just making decision by itself. Okay, I want to be an abstract painter. There's more goes into that than just that determination. It has to come from the heart. It can't be contrived. It has to be real. I guess, so if anyone who has any thoughts about pursuing any given aspect of art, you have to want it desperately and then allow your life to make it happen. It's not, for me, a thing where I can just make a decision tonight and then wake up tomorrow and start painting. So after wanting so badly to be an abstract painter, the day came when it all just fell into place, and it was all very clear to me, and it just went at it like crazy. That became my life, basically. And to the point where, in a certain kind of related way, and if I can somehow tie this notion together that I'm thinking of right this minute as I think of your question, right after my BFA work at School of Visual Arts, I was introduced to the real world and was informed or learned that there's this concept called black art. I said, black art? Yeah, I couldn't easily deal with that. It was very disturbing, the whole concept of it. And so that fueled my determination to be an abstract artist. And I vowed to myself that I would not play into that, the black artist making black images because that's the way it's supposed to be done. I might have lost something in that reality, but for me and my level of, or stage of development at that time, I was I protested and rebelled against that notion that I was to paint subjects and in a genre that was predetermined for me. So.
Well, this one's quite a switch too. This looks like, actually I have to look at it larger.
This is the series Juxtaposition.
Okay.
And this came as a result of taking a trip to Nova Scotia. And somehow I just saw images, unrelated, juxtaposed to each other.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal in a way.
I enjoyed and so it was like a phase of coming out of, in a certain kind of way, taking one step out of the world of, or preoccupation of abstract work and adding some realism to it or representative aspects to it.
And this is another familiar looking face.
Yeah, Ellen took that picture.
Oh, so she was on the sub. Now, do you go out deliberately, like, Ellen, let's go on the subway and do some shots?
Yeah.
Or is it just kind of spontaneous?
Yeah, it happens spontaneously. Yeah. And although Ellen and I have gone out with a mission in mind, one in particular, the rebuilding of the World Trade Center area. We went out and took lots of photos, and I came back and executed them, well, those that I thought were going to be useful to me and worth taking to another level, being oil on canvas. And so there we had a stack of them. And this gentleman who's turned out to be a head of a legal firm who represents construction entities, he wanted to see them. So we brought him downtown to 34th Street, lugged them upstairs, and he looked at them all, and he gave me crumbs for them, but it was a nice experience of seeing how things work, and I learned the hard way not to sell myself too cheap, too. But yeah, slowly coming back to representational, because after I had vowed not to do black art per se, these pieces become almost miraculous. They actually, for me and from my heart, become something I can't really explain, because despite my stance on what kind of work I would do, they just made themselves a reality in terms of my body of work and in terms of my focus. It's really quite amazing. So
You paint every day? I mean, do you sort of go to the studio, whatever, regardless the way you feel, or do you wait? Do you kind of have things marinate in your head while you're going about, doing odd jobs in your house or something, and then?
Good question. Am I making any sense? I wish I'm trying to relax here, but I can enjoy this myself. As a drummer, as a fledgling or aspiring drummer, I would become somewhat frustrated at the fact that I wasn't developing the name that I had wanted to, or recognition that I wanted to. And it was, it had the effect of kind of dampening my enthusiasm. So just out of the blue, it occurred to me, okay, what is a professional? Because I wasn't getting enough jobs, just the gigs were really just very, and this is while I'm going to SVA, because I worked my way through SVA as a jazz musician.
Oh, you did. So you play at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it occurred to me, there's two ways to become a professional. One way is to do it all the time, no matter what. And that is what I bring to the art. I just do it all the time, no matter what. But I should have reversed those. But the other way is to do it when you don't want to. Yeah. And so to answer your question, I paint every day.
Whether you feel like it or not. Yeah, that's a good,
Ellen and I have decided maybe I need a break. Yeah. It's
and if it's not,
I would agree with her.
So if it's not too personal, the working relationship, I mean, you, you work in separate spaces, right? But do invade each other's space once in a while and comment on the other person's progress, or do you leave it? Is it diplomat? How's the diplomacy work?
Oh, it works so
with two
well.
artists?
I know, two artists, right?
Yeah.
The clash of the artists. Ellen always invites me to critique and give feedback of her work. And I'm really humbled by that all the time. And I try desperately to get beyond that initial attitude that I can't tell you anything you should do. This is purely yours, you know, kind of thing. And be more useful and helpful at the time, and come up with something, come up with a real response. And the way she takes it is so gratifying for me, because then when you see I see the finished work in all framed in a show or something like that, and I'm able to realize that this came about as a result of her just ingenious gifts, but also with license or an invitation on my part, or on her part, for me to have been a part of it. It's a beautiful thing. And, but with my work, Ellen pretty much does my work for me. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
So she's painted all these, right?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. I take a photograph of anything I'm working on at the end of my night or day, whatever. And so Ellen's very interested to see, so what have you done today, she'll say. And I'll share the stage of work where I've gotten to with any particular piece. And she'll say, no, the eye isn't right. You gotta do something with those hands, and you gotta. What was a really famous one I've heard recently? What was it, Al? Let's see if I can think of it real quick. It was a doozy. Let me see. What was it?
But all constructive, right?
She's thinking, and she's trying to somehow telegraph it to me through the air. But it was a good one. Gerald needs hair. Now, this is someone who practically shaves his head, okay? There's just the faintest indication of hair there. And maybe 1, 2
We're not talking about, are we talking about this guy?
of growth. No, that's
No.
this is the Gerald here. And this is after I've gotten to a stage in the work where if I do anything, if I endeavor to do anything further, I'm taking a big risk. I'm just going to screw it up. I'm going to experience a setback and have to just take untold time to get back to where I was before Ellen's suggestions. But lo and behold, and she'll say it every time, she says, I told you, just listen to me all the time. Oh, there was an Obama painting. She says, you can see the whites in his eyes, and I swore that wasn't the case, and I dug up that photograph, and lo and behold, there it was. So I made the correction, and there, gee whiz, it just transformed the painting. So she says, just never question, just do whatever I say. So that's our relationship as artists. I think I benefit more than she does. She's much more generous.
So I want to leave a few minutes because we're running out of time, but I want to this new series, so I'm going to jump to that if I can, if this works, and to see this new series that you're, yay, there it is. So there's 4 of these, and you wanted a brief thing. Now, these are, what's the concept of this series, or was there a name for it?
The name for this series is Crosswalks. And people will say, don't you think you're biting off of Abbey Road with those stripes? No, the Beatles do not own those stripes.
Right.
I can have them too. I find them, because the subtitle to the series is Transitions, so I see one of those like rope span bridges that span across a valley, that kind of thing, and the idea or concept of going from one extreme to another, from one thing to another, mindset to another, life to another, or mental reality. It's something that I enjoy a lot, and the series came about as a result of my taking in the energy that happens at an intersection. So while driving a cab, whenever I'd be the first car stopped at an intersection, I'd do videos and and shots.
I mean, I think we talked about this in our conversation. It is kind of it's a journey. It's a short one, but it's a journey. It's kind of a metaphor for a journey, and the zebra stripes almost kind of denote stages of, you could say, stages of life, if I'm not overreaching. But these people are going in crisscrossing directions, and everybody's on their own path, right?
Exactly. There's a profundity in it for me. Yeah. Oh. And I do screenshots with some of the subjects or pictures and paintings. And so when I look back at that video and the world converges to that point where I've spent untold hours, just lost in the piece. And then it comes back, it goes through itself and disappears again. That becomes something that I guess I thank myself for being an artist. Yeah.
Well, one more, and then I think we'll take questions, so we can leave time for some questions. So here's, just amazing. I mean, there's all the, there's the background, all the hustle and bustle of cars and people busy going to work or wherever, and then these people just lazily doing on their little trip, whatever that is, right?
Yeah. With this picture, the Museum of Natural History is to your right. So this is 81st Street in Central Park West. And straight ahead is the transverse, is the 79th Street transverse. And I never stopped there. But on this one particular occasion, I did not miss out on the opportunity to capture it as best I could.
Do we have questions? You do. We encourage you to walk over there. Well, you must walk over there because that's where they can hear you and see you for the recording for people that want to look at this later or see it for the first time. So anybody want to walk? Somebody start over there.
That would be great.
And then we can all hear you.
Thank you. Larry, I've seen the Black Men Reading series before, but I hadn't studied these abstracts, and you mentioned how it kind of informed your painting, and I'm now looking at all these portraits, and it seems like you're unfettered with any kind of unnecessary detail, the planes, the shadows. It's almost like you were learning how to paint in those abstracts. Here's how to do a face, and it really is simplified down. Is that true, or is that just observed after the fact?
Thank you, Doug. It all boils down to seeing. So, especially when you relate the representative with the abstract, somewhere in there you're getting a sense of my mind, I guess. I never thought of it that way before, but I have to confess too, something in that pursuit or exercise being revealed. when you consider the abstract with and side by side with the realistic work. Yeah.
And you communicate in all your paintings a lot with, when you zoom in visually and look at something, you realize there isn't a lot of detail there, but it all comes across. I mean, the cars, the reflections, the little gleam on the folds. And I mean, they're simple, it's not simple to do, but they come across as simple shapes, but they communicate a lot.
Okay, yes, that's great feedback for me. That's proof of my having accomplished something that I put a great hope in. And I had an instructor at SVA who, we have different, okay. You have a myriad of instructors, and then maybe only one thing you recall from each of them. But this particular one would tell me, don't make yourself crazy. Whatever you do, don't make yourself crazy. This is not tyranny, this is art. And so just whatever work you're doing, get to that point where you've said enough and leave it. So I guess for another artist who might be more painstaking or be more illustrative or something, if I'm getting to my point, for them, they have it in them that they can do it without going nuts. For me, I get to that point where it becomes so uncomfortable that it's like repeating myself. And I might suggest I can't do any better than that. So I'm glad that what I do is sufficient enough. Thank you very much, Doug.
Any other questions? Yes. Oh, please step up to the.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Larry, thank you so much for sharing your creative life with us tonight. I've seen a good few of these pieces before, and I'm noting a very eclectic roster of faces. I'm looking at James Baldwin right now, as well as some just anonymous people off the street, and they all have a similar powerful resonance. I'm wondering if there were any couple, 1, 2, 3 pieces that were particularly meaningful to you, looking at them as finished objects that really resonate with your inner intent in this series.
Thank you, Bill. What a question. And I mean that in especially in a sense that when I'm done with a painting, I'm so happy to be finished and don't have to look at it anymore. The conversation come about, and either a viewer or a fellow artist would say, isn't it hard for you to sell your work? Isn't it hard for you to say goodbye to it? I guess I'm a terrible parent because it's like, I'm so glad to have it to go. And so I'm left then, Bill, with impressions of my experience in doing it. So yeah, I guess it's one of those things that when a mother who favors a particular child of hers because it was an easy delivery kind of thing. And that one would be one in particular of the Black men reading. I guess it's outside. It's the gentleman reading in the subway, and he has a blue jacket on him.
Can you pick him up?
He's wearing a blue jacket on him. He's wearing a blue jacket. And yeah.
What number is, can you read the number?
It's number, where are the reading glasses?
Sorry.
It's the last one there.
Oh, this one?
This one here.
And
Is it the same?
Yeah.
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 I have to say, I'm I don't know how else to put it. The painting just jumped onto the canvas by itself. It was it was like miraculous. There's more I could have done with the face. I always recall, or whenever I see it, because these things, they sit in my storage and they stacked, and it's only on rare occasions I get to see my particular pieces from my body of work. And and it's like someone else did them. I'm able to look at them or view them in a refreshed or objective way, let's just say. And one thing that comes across is that I could have worked more on his face. But then I remind myself that there are artists, I won't drop any names down, who I enjoy very much for leaving aspects that I, the viewer, can do myself. I'm really a proponent of having the viewer do some work too. And, but yes, this particular piece, Bill, holds a kind of wonderment or for me in that it was about the easiest work I can recall doing.
Yeah, I think we have a couple more questions we can go through quickly, because...
One thing I really appreciate about your work is your use of color. And it comes through. You use so many different colors, and you seem to really capture something very special in all your paintings with your color. Is that just something that came to you naturally, or have you really worked on it in your studies?
That's a really good question, Janet. Actually, I had to work on that. But it's not like, okay. There are works that I can share with you from a particular time in my stage of development, going back, and which bear a kind of quality to them, color-wise, that the preceding paintings do not have. And that comes as a result of learning in a real concrete way how to manage the phenomena of color. It's a thing in itself. I thankfully was able to come to that place very early on. We're talking early 20s, and since then, I enjoy using colors as one might use an instrument. It's because it's a real thing. It's something one can learn, and it's scientific in a certain kind of way. Does everyone know the concept of complementary colors? Does everyone? Raise your hand if you don't really solidly understand complementary colors. Okay. Just for those who raised their hand, complementary colors. It's if you have a plate, you have meat, potatoes, and vegetables. Okay. They might represent red, blue, and yellow. Now, when you have a plate, a full plate like that, with each element present, it becomes an enjoyable meal. So, if you have, okay, we're talking the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So if I have green, green is made of what colors? Yellow and blue, right. So to decide your complementary color, you would ask yourself which color is missing. So we're talking yellow and blue, so the one missing is red, there. So red is always the complementary of blue. I mean, of green. Used to a crazy commercial extent during Christmas, right? So then if I ask you, what is purple made of? Blue and red. So the complementary of purple then would be the missing color, which is yellow. There you are. The colors of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay. We want to get to, we have a couple more questions and we very little time.
And then there's one more. I've got it.
Okay.
I'm immersed. Orange. Anyone? Orange is made of, there you go. So the missing one is, there you go, the Mets, right? So there's a psychological, I guess is what I should say, right, Adja? There's a psychological effect on your viewer when you utilize your colors in such ways that you endeavor to get a particular response from them. There you go.
Okay, let's get to the next question.
Thank you, everybody.
Wrap this up soon. Yes.
What inspired you to start the series instead of doing just one?
What inspired me to start this series, the Black Men Reading, instead of just one, you say?
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you stop at one?
Why did I stop at one? Thank you very much. Because the image of a black man reading is profound for me in that it's the image of an individual seeking to gain knowledge. And I extrapolate that they need to gain knowledge to explain their place in this world. And it's a profound thing that I felt deserves iterations of it. Let's just say more than just one, to spread around, to celebrate that fact that a black man reading, the image of a black man reading is just such a unique concept and a unique image in this world that we live in, for historic, bared out by historic realities. And you're so innocent, you're young. You'll discover why it's something that Larry Morse lost himself in one day. But thank you for your question.
You. So you could ask him on the way home, Ellen, but go ahead.
Hi, this is important. And it could have a long answer, so you'll have to answer it as quick as you can. So the very first slide was you standing in front of that car. And the whole circle is that your own personal experience, as you've told me, is that you weren't a terribly good student and did not come from an environment where reading was encouraged in your life. And not that you couldn't read, but you just really weren't reading. You weren't a reader. But your love of cars is what started you at a much older age than most people, because most kids learn when they're very little, and that you began with reading car magazines. Yeah. And also, just this sort of a sidebar, that a lot of your paintings have cars in them, and cars are very important to you and always have been. I see it as kind of symbolic of needing to get from one place to another. But I just wanted you to talk about your own personal introduction to reading and tying it to cars. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Ellen, obviously, or apparently for you, has some a need or is endeavoring to have me talk about something that's very important about the whole subject that I maybe shouldn't miss. And that being, yes, as a result of being from a family that had a rocky existence. Yeah, I bore the challenge of somehow overcoming that. I had a broken family, left then to manage for myself and to figure out the world by myself, kind of thing. And my love of my passion for the people who were so supportive emotionally, my aunts, my father, my grandfather, my uncle in particular, had me very keen to pick up on whatever their interests were to somehow inform myself as a youth. And in particular here, we're talking about my uncle's passion for automobiles, and that drove me, no pun intended, to seek information on the subject that I could then talk with him about later, because that was a great thrill of mine to just have a conversation with him. He tried desperately, he and his father and my father, to fill in the fact that I had a mom who just wasn't necessarily terribly enthusiastic about parenting and that kind of thing. And they really, as I look back on it, felt pretty badly about that and did what they could. And so the way I reciprocated was to get with them on any subject I could. And my uncles being cars, I would at first look at the magazines of these cars he would mention, like Ferraris, Maseratis. Then I got to the point where I needed to read into these magazines more and understand better the subject. And it was an excruciating process, because I had a family structure that was not very supportive of my reading development. And teachers they had a whole room of students to teach and bring along, and maybe there was this indifference and present in the sense that this culture does not go out of its way or get very excited about its obligation to teach a Black man to read. And my reading developed, and this picture of the car, there it is. We called it the Bat car. I joined a movement of car design, of customizing, where you took off the bumpers and you made your own bumpers, smooth bumpers. So only like about a few years ago, I run into someone I grew up with, and they get so excited. They're screaming, Larry, Larry, and they're getting all their friends together. There's Larry. He invented the bumperless car. I said, no, it was a movement. I dug him. I dug the look. It was real cool to have, to customize the car and not have a bumper. No, you invented the bumperless car. Don't listen to him. He's too modest. He invented it. So that's how enthusiastic I was, and that's how into it. This car is my first serious piece, you would say.
Yeah.
I wish I had it today, but anyhow.
And coincidentally, I mean, I grew up with my family owned, and this is a Ford Fairlane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had that car as well.
Yeah.
Never looked that good, but we have to.
I just went from there to books, magazines to books, and just developed my reading. Because I was so remiss to doing my homework and stuff like that, I'd be in the park developing my athletic wherewithal. And so as I got into high school, I had developed into quite the athlete that a certain, let's say, culture in school became very amorous or admired me for. And so they welcomed me into their world, a world I would never get into were I not an athlete. But my being in their world, I admired the fact that they were smart. So I just wanted to be smart like them. And believe it or not, after being behind a year in high school, right on, I brought myself to finish high school in 4 years, the 4 prescribed years, which only speaks of my determination to lift myself out of a dim world of with not a whole lot of promise in terms of the academe. And so I have a particular kind of obsession with reading. I always have a book on me. In the service, it was like, I felt a little self-conscious, like people would make such a big deal out of my reading. Or having a book on me, that kind of thing. So it's one of those useful or fortunate obsessions or addictions, and I took Russian Lit in my undergrad. Had to read The Idiot by Dostoevsky in 1 week. Imagine that. We're talking, I won't, if any of you have any idea, we're talking many, many pages. Let's just say that. But, and that is only to say how crazy how really insane I became for the experience or what I'd get back from reading a book. And so reading is, and then later on, it becomes everything for my explaining to myself why, how I fit into this world and the madness of the world and the secrets that one cannot know of how things are set up. And because I know the deal, and it's only as a result of reading, and my reading is extensive, and the areas I have, and that's not to pat myself on the back. That's to express how extraordinary the effect of somehow being bitten by the need to just know, and books being the best source of the information. So my life panned out in such a way that very strangely it culminates in a Larry Morse that's rather peculiar in a certain kind of way.
I think it's a good place that we have to end. I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah,
in a strange. But I'm inspired actually to do a series of my own called "White Men Reading While Driving."
Not recommended, right?
Oh, okay. I'll scrap that idea. Thank you very much, Larry. This was great.